Hare Krishna. So, welcome to the Saturday and Sunday discussion on the Bhagavad Gita preface and introduction essay. We are doing a thematic study of the preface and the introduction essay. Along with that, we are discussing a lot of philosophical concepts which we come across while studying the essay on the introduction. So, here is again the overview. Paragraphs 1 to 8 speak about the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. And while discussing these 8 paragraphs, how Bhagavad Gita is Gita Upanishads, so what the Upanishads cover, the 5 topics, Panchanganaya, within which there is Sambandha Abhideya and then Prayojan. The first 3 are Sambandhyan, this is Abhideya, means of attaining Brahman, and this is Prayojan. And with respect to Sambandha Abhideya Prayojan, we went into the concept. We saw the Tattvatraya, you know, and then we did a lot of exercises, practical application of Sambandha Abhideya and Prayojan. And after that, we covered the essay, paragraphs 1 to 8, Spirit of Bhagavad Gita. And we covered another concept, which is the concept of Tatparya Lingas. Now, Bhagavad Gita has to be understood as spoken by the speaker, and the speaker is saying in the Bhagavad Gita, I am the Supreme Lord. So the right interpretation of the Gita is required. And to interpret Shastra, how to understand a text or a book or a particular section of the book, it is through the concept of Tatparya Lingas. And last time we spent an entire class on Tatparya Lingas. So the Tatparya Lingas discussion was over and we did application of Tatparya Lingas. We saw one example of Bhagavatam, Upakrama, Upasamhara, Upakrama Samharo, Abhyasa Purvata Phalam, Arthavad Upapatti, Chalingam, Tatparya Nirnay. We saw that Bhagavatam and one verse, how we read one verse through the concept of Tatparya Lingas, we did that. Now we come to the second theme, the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. We will go through the second theme and we will be studying the stages of knowledge. This is the concept we are going to study today. Now I'll just go through the uh, paragraphs 9 to 12. And even while reading the paragraphs, if you have any questions also, you are free to ask. So Prabhupada, in the first theme, the spirit of Bhagavad Gita, he mentions how one should accept the Bhagavad Gita, as it is spoken by the speaker, and the speaker and all the great acharyas have confirmed that, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we have to accept this in a submissive spirit. And if we don't accept in a submissive spirit, then we cannot understand the mystery of Gita. So that's what we studied. Now, in the next theme, that is this theme from paragraph, so we have to understand the Bhagavad Gita. Now, any thing has a purpose. Any book has a purpose. What is the purpose? You are reading maths book, you want to become a mathematician. Why are you reading a commerce book? Because you want to become businessman. Why are you reading science? Because you want to become scientist. So any book has a purpose, or anything you do, should have a purpose, anything you pursue, like you work, what is the purpose? So that you earn money and maintain your house or maintain your family or maintain your belly. So everything has a purpose, any book, any object, anything. So what is the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita is the theme from 9 to 12. Just what is the Bhagavad Gita? You see, Prabhupada himself puts the question, the purpose of the Bhagavad Gita is to deliver mankind from the nescience of material existence. So, uh, we have to accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Bhagavan. And by accepting and studying the Bhagavad Gita, what will happen to us? We will become delivered from material existence. Every man is in difficulty in so many ways, as Arjuna was also in difficulty in having to fight the battle of Kurukshetra. Arjuna surrendered unto Krishna, and consequently, this Bhagavad Gita is spoken not only to Arjuna, but every one of us Not only Arjuna, but every one of us is full of anxieties because of this material existence. So Krishna put his eternal associate Arjuna in illusion so that he can ask questions about, the questions about his existence and the goal of life. And Arjuna was put in a very perplexing situation. He was, Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava prachami tom dharma sammuda cheta. He was, in a real dharma sammuda cheta. And Prabhupada, if you see, okay, I have to open the Veda base. I will open the Veda base. Prabhupada, you see in this purport to 2.7, he is writing that by nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. In every step, there is perplexity, and therefore it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual who can give proper guidance on executing the purpose of life. So the man is always put in perplexity in this material world, you know. So Arjuna was put in this perplexity by the Lord's will so that he can ask these questions, and it is meant for us, for our development. We are put in anxieties. Arjuna is an eternal associate. He was put in Maya, illusion, by the Lord's will. Otherwise, he's an eternal associate. We have to understand. Our existence is in the atmosphere of non existence. Very, very amazing statement this is. Our very existence is in an atmosphere of non-existence. This is it's a very philosophical statement, you know. And who would like to explain what it means? Our existence is in an atmosphere of non-existence. Let us see. Who will explain what this means? What you understand by this statement? Who will try to explain? Govinda Nandini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
What it means?
Uh, because we are soul, we are not the this material body. Does it mean
Okay.
that? So we are changing our body, but
Okay.
the soul remains same.
Mm, okay. Okay. Uh, Chakram Prabhuji, yes, what is your understanding?
This material world is not the true world. It's non-existence exactly.
Okay. Nandini Mataji, what is your understanding of this statement?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Our existence as a jivas, as a soul, we are
Mhm.
present here in a very temporary world, which is referred as non-existence, material
You
world.
are quite close. Can you more elaborate? Our very existence is an atmosphere of non-existence.
Like as our existence as a eternal part and parcel of Krishna.
Ah, yes. Our existence is eternal, but we are put in an atmosphere of non-existence. You know, as though, our existence has come to an end because there is death for the body. But actually, the soul continues to existence. But we are put in a atmosphere of non-existence, although our existence is eternal. You got the point? Got the understanding?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
This is very important for us to understand. So Prabhupada is very good. Actually, we are not to be threatened by non-existence. Our existence is eternal. Prabhupada is making that point. But somehow or other we are put in asat. Although we are sat, we are put in asat. Asat refers to that which does not exist. Yeah. Now the next paragraph, paragraph 10. This was paragraph 9. Okay, 9, 10, 11, and 12 is this. Okay, so now paragraph 10. Out of so many human beings who are suffering, there are few who are actually inquiring about their position as to what they are, why they are put in this awkward position, and so on. Ki Ami, who am I? Sanatan Goswami is asking, who am I? And Kemono, Trapatraya, why these threefold miseries are always giving me trouble? You know? So nobody, very few are inquiring unless one is awakened to this position of questioning his suffering. You know? Unless he realizes he doesn't want suffering, but rather wants to make a solution to all suffering, then what is not to be considered a perfect human being? Now, human birth starts, although we are human beings, only when we inquire into, I don't want to suffer, but why I'm putting this world of suffering. As soul, I'm blissful, but I'm put in an existence where there is only misery. Our existence is in an atmosphere of non-existence. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Humanity begins when this thought of inquiry is awakened in one's mind. So humanity, until then, he is not human. In the Brahma Sutra, this inquiry is called as Brahma Jigyasu. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Every activity of human being is considered a failure unless he inquires about the nature of the absolute. So you have accomplished all in this world, but if you have not done Atato Brahma Jigyasa, your life is useless. Because again, you're going to glide in the lower species of life and rotate in the cycle of birth and death. So that is why human life begins with this. Otherwise, it's a failure. Therefore, those who begin to question why they are suffering or where they came from and where they shall go after death are proper students for understanding Bhagavad Gita. Now, here, three questions. Why are we suffering? Where have we come from? And where we shall go after death? You know? So, this is Brahma Jigyasa. There is creation. This creation, what we see, this universe. And we are created. And we are in this creation. And there has to be a creator. So, sorry, 1 second. Oh, there is a. Okay, let me rub this and take a new page only. Yeah. So what I was trying to say is that there is this creation and we are in this creation. We are created, and this creation, there is a creator. And Brahma Jigyasa is these questions. Okay, again, there is a mistake. 1 second. Who am I? What is this creation? Who is the creator? Why am I put in this creation? I'm here for 50 years or 100 years as a human being. In the other life forms, I'm there, but I cannot inquire into these questions. And it's only a human being. Why 50, 100 years, I'm put in this creation, and after that, what happens? This creation is going to continue, but why? What is the purpose of I being put in this creation? So these are Brahma Jigyasa questions. Who is God? Who am I? And this creation. This is Ishvara, Prakriti, and Jiva. These questions. And why am I put in this creation? I put in this creation because I've been given Trivid Tapa so that I can inquire. That is the reason. A proper, what will happen to me after death? The sincere student should also have firm respect to the spiritual personality of Godhead. Such a student was Arjuna. So understand Bhagavad Gita. So that's why there are stages of knowledge, which to understand, philosophical knowledge. So that is the concept today we will be studying. Lord Krishna descends specifically to re-establish the real purpose of life when man forgets that purpose. Even then, out of many, many human beings who awaken, there may be one who actually enters into the spirit of understanding his position, and for him, this Bhagavad Gita was spoken. So Prabhupada is very, very personal here. You know, out of many human beings, one who will awaken this question, and one who actually can enter into the spirit of understanding. And for him, this Bhagavad Gita was spoken. So directly Bhagavad Gita is spoken to me directly. Actually, we are all swallowed by the tigress of nescience, avidya. But the Lord is very merciful upon living entities, especially human beings. To this end, he spoke the Bhagavad Gita, making his friend Arjuna his student. The Saka became a Shishya. Because being an associate of the Lord, Arjuna is all about ignorance. But Arjuna is put into ignorance on the battlefield of Krishna just to question Lord Krishna about the problems of life, so that the Lord could explain them for the benefit of future generations of human beings and chalk out the plan of life. Then man could act accordingly and perfect the mission of life. So when we ask questions, these questions in the concept of Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojan, what they are dealing with. Anyone would like to answer? With respect to Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojan, these questions are dealing with what? Shubha Ikshan Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, first one is Sambandha.
Yeah, all are regarding Sambandha only.
Yes.
Okay. Now here, then man could act accordingly and perfect the mission of human life. So in this, what is there with
Uh,
respect to Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojan?
Abhidheya,
Abhidheya is what?
acting.
And Prayojan is what?
Last part, perfect the mission of human life.
Okay. So not only verses you should see based on Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojan, all the statements and the purports also you should start seeing from the Tattvatraya knowledge and Sambandha Abhidheya and Panchanga knowledge. Okay. So please try applying this concepts what we are studying. And these concepts are frameworks. Just like, a painter needs a frame, you know, and on the frame he can set and then start drawing, what he visualizes. So to understand philosophical subjects, you need a framework, and those framework are these concepts. And if you don't have these frameworks, you cannot enter into the subjects. So this philosophical definition of Bhagavad Gita, philosophical terms, which we are all discussing here, is a very, very important subject, which we should take it seriously. Okay, now with respect to these three paragraphs, because one has to understand the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, so I am taking up this concept of stages of education. So there is first the tripod balance of learning. This is Pranipata, Pariprashna, and Sevaya. Submissive inquiry, service, and surrender. The three S. And then the three stages of education based on the Svetashar Upanishad's verse. And there are four stages in education based on the Patanjali Sutras. And both are same, but some different angle is there. So today we will see this. So let's begin with the three S, which is surrender, submissive service, and submission, submissive inquiry, and submissive service. Okay, or service, submissive inquiry, and surrender. Pranipata, Pariprashna, and Sevaya. Okay, Pranipata, Pariprashna, Sevaya. If there is service, there will be interest. If there is interest, you will inquire submissively. Someone who inquires submissively means he wants the knowledge. So, in spiritual life, if you want to inquire knowledge, you have to serve. And when you serve, then, this is how, why, you have to, 1 second. Okay, 1 second, sorry. So, when you're doing seva, say you're doing the altar backup and you're washing the utensils, the arti plate. Oh, why in the arti plate? First we offer agarbatti, then you offer lamp. So there is earth, water, fire, air, ether, all this concept is there. So you will inquire, and this inquiry is coming because you're doing service. And this service is spiritual, that will invoke in you spiritual inquiry. I hope you are getting this. And then you'll attain spiritual knowledge. Someone who doesn't inquire submissively means he has doubt. So if you don't inquire submissively, you have some doubt and you just want to, prove your point. It is a challenge. He doesn't want to know. He sees something with what you are saying. So it is not that he wants to know what you are saying. He just sees a fault. So that's why Prabhupada in the Bhagavatam mentions that one should not inquire in a challenging spirit. This is a this is the first thing about the quality of Suta Goswami. It is mentioned in the those who listen to the Bhagavatam may put questions to the speaker in order to elicit the clear meaning. But this should not be done in a challenging spirit. One must submit questions with great regard for the speaker and the subject matter. This is also the way recommended in Bhagavad Gita. One must learn the subject by submissive oral reception from the. Therefore, these greatest addresses with great adarat. So, with great adar, we should not with doubt, to prove your point as right and you want to put him down in a challenging spirit. If you're doing that, then you're defeated. Knowledge will not enter your heart at all. So that is the way recommended. So Prabhupada is quoting Tadvidhi Pranipaten only here. So this is the point being made. If there is a proper interest to learn, then he will try to have the knowledge and then practice it. So there is proper interest, then he will learn, have the knowledge, and with that knowledge, he'll put it in practice. Pranipat or submissive inquiry means that he will contemplate and apply it as seva. So please understand there is seva, and with that seva, there is submissive inquiry done in a very respectful mood, that is surrender. And when you get the knowledge, that knowledge you try to apply, and when you're applying also, that is also seva. Then he will again generate the interest to know. Then the cycle of knowledge will continue. So that's how it continues. By this process, then when one has a desire to know and one is applying this knowledge practically with time, he will develop practices, realization, proper good values and qualities. That's how they are going to come. So with this, there will be practices, realization, good values, qualities, and then you will develop. Good qualities, virtues, and realizations come from consistent practice with proper understanding. That's why at the core of the system of knowledge is its practice. Otherwise, if you just learn so much knowledge after a while, it won't be good for you. It'll all be in the head. Nothing is coming from the heart because you have not done seva. You know, you see so many times professional students, all they do is study. They never apply it. Very nice people, gentle people, but they don't do anything. The point is this knowledge must be applied that will give you realization. If you don't do seva, then the realization will not come. That is the main point of these three approach: Pranipata, Pariprashna, and Sevaya. It's a tripod. One, only by applying that knowledge, means by performing service, then you will know. So please understand, you have to apply the knowledge. That means you're doing seva, and by seva only you will get realization. There is that famous pastime. One great scholar from Bengal, he knew about Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that he's a very scholarly person and he had transformed the whole of Bengal through Gaudiya Vaishnavism, because during Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati time there are hundreds of sannyasis whom he had as disciples, and all were highly educated, coming from very royal families. So this learned person came to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur to meet him in the Gaudiya Mutt in Mayapur, and he said that I have questions for you. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, you go and ask my pujari. No, no. They are very highly philosophical questions. It is apt that I speak to you. But Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, no, you go and speak to the pujari. So because he had faith in Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he followed his orders. And the pujari had just finished the aarti and he was washing the plates. So when this person approached, because he was a little submissive, and then he saw that pujari is washing, can I do something? Yeah, come, please wash the plates, he said. So this big rich man, very knowledgeable from material terms, he did this humble menial service. So after performing the seva, he was just going back from the mud. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur stopped and asked him, did you get the answer to your questions? He said, yes, I got the answer. Now, because he did this humble service, that seva purified his heart, and Krishna in the heart revealed that knowledge. Tesham satati yuktanam bhajatam priti purkam dadami buddhiyagam. So this is how it is. By only performing seva, then you will know. That's why sometimes too much acquiring knowledge without doing practical service. In fact, only by doing practical service, the realization of the knowledge is going to happen. Otherwise, always it will remain in the head. It will not have the transformation of the heart. And therefore, in the Gurukul system, so much time is spent doing service. The more service that is done, the more one can inquire, the more one has interest. This idea that many parents or educators say that Gurukul system is wasting students' time by doing menial service when they could be doing more academics is fallacious. So this idea people have, in Gurukul system only all these menial service they do, instead of that they could study more academics, The Gurukul should generate the interest, so therefore seva has to be done. You can tell how good a student is by watching him doing his service, how he washes the pots, clean a broom, clean with the broom, interaction with others. You can tell this is a good student or a bad student. Previously, when the same Bhakti Shastri course system was that you had all your essays and did all that, so you got graded on that. But the final work was very interesting. There was a huge big box and all the students were invited over to this box by the teachers. The box was opened and the students all look inside wondering what's inside. When they look inside, they find brooms. Then the teacher gave them each an area in the school to sweep, and then watching how they swept and the quality of what they called the work is done, and they got a mark. If it doesn't come to Sevaya, then you didn't learn anything. See? सेवा भाव नहीं है, then all your knowledge is in the dustbin. This is how the final grades of the previous Bhakti Shastri was run. It is very easy. You can sit down and watch how someone handles a broom and tell everything about him, their whole mentality, attitude, how well they can study, their attitude towards others. Everything you can tell that by that one thing. Service is very important, Sevaya. In fact, in this triangle, I'm just drawing here, this is Pranipata, there is Pariprashna. Seva is on the center here. It's on the top of the triangle. So it holds both of them together. Now, let's come to the 3 stages of learning. This is from the Brihadhyar Commission, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana. There is a verse also. I forgot the verse. I'll try to next time find the quotation. But do you have any questions on Pranipata Pariprashna Sevaya? I can take up that and then go to the next concept. The same concept based on there is a tripod learning. Then there is this 3 levels, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana. I would like to take that. But before that, any questions you have up till now about Pranipata Pariprashna and Sevaya? Let us see. Any questions? No questions? Okay, so now there is one question. Nandini Mataji, yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. I don't know whether I'll be able to put it properly, but the question is here, the mostly question Sevaya is focused on very menial services
Not
in the
really.
paragraph.
No, there is menial. There's a bhav, that seva bhav is there. That vritti is there. Somebody might be giving a Bhagavatam class, but he might be doing in the mood of service to his spiritual master. Although others might say no, but that mood is not there and he's giving the lecture, it is not really seva. Are you getting this point?
Mhm.
So that mood should be there. How did Prabhupada see his disciples? How did he see?
As representative of his spiritual
Spiritual
master.
master. So I am serving my spiritual master. So he saw them as his servants. That I am a servant and you know, you're representatives of my spiritual master. So I am doing service to you. In that mood, he was accepting disciples and you have come to assist the mission of my spiritual master. And I am just assisting you. That's it. It's not that I am master, you are servant, and I am ordering you. Got the point?
Mhm.
This is the material world. The material world consciousness is like that. But this is a paradigm shift in consciousness, which is required. And even after years, sometimes this paradigm shift in the consciousness doesn't happen. Be it the loftiest service of giving a lecture or a menial service of serving prasadam. You might be doing a menial service of serving prasadam, but still you have that controller consciousness. You want to give how much you want to give, but you are not giving how much that person wants you to give. Are you getting this point?
Yes, yes.
So it is a very deep rooted conditioning of the conditioned soul. So that seva vritti, as long as it doesn't come, you are asking questions, you know, to elicit the meaning. That is, that bhav should be there. Otherwise, if you are asking in a challenging mood, na, as though you know
Mm.
better things and you want to show your knowledge, everything is defeated then. Vaishnava culture and Vaishnava philosophy is very deep, like a vast ocean. Okay.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Thank you,
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Any other questions? Anyone else has regarding Pranipata, Pariprashna, and Sevaya? Okay, we'll come now to the Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana. Very interesting concept. Please try to hear this and try to understand this. Shravanam means hearing knowledge from the teacher. You are going to get this knowledge, so that is based on authority. The main source of knowledge is authority. Then one is going to apply that knowledge. That means one has to bring it down to the observable level. It is descending. It starts with authority and comes down to pratyaksh. So you hear from the higher, this is avaroha panta, not aroha. Your ascending process. It is descending from the spiritual authority, Guru Shish Parampara. And then you have to practically realize it. You know, ascending means you start with pratyaksh or the senses and try to make it to the authority. It won't work. So the aroha panta will not come work. The avaroha panta, the ascending process, no, it is descending. Because when you get to authority, then the impersonalists find out that they are authority. You know, I am the authority, I am God. So it is not a very good system. So understand this Aroha Pantha, ultimately, you go by that and ultimately you declare you are God. So this will not work. So Mananam, you get an intellectual understanding through practice and reflection. Mananam means to contemplate what you have heard. After you have done Shravanam, then you have to reflect, Manan Karna. A Muni is Mananashila, a thought who thinks, who reflects on what he has heard. This is Vichar. You get an understanding and then you see it from different angles and then you practice it. You have to understand from different, and then by practicing it, you get more of an understanding and you see it from another angle. So you put it in practice means you're doing seva. And by that seva, you get a better understanding, realization. Like you sit there and watch someone cook. For them, the cooking is easy. They are expert at it. Watching is also very easy. You look at it, it looks easy. Yeah, you just put the ghee in the thing and then throw a few spices and all that. Then throw a little few vegetables and push it around and it cooks for a while. And then hurry bowl. I can do that, no big deal. Then when you have to do it, then some other, a different perception arises. How much ghee do you put? How hot is the ghee? How much spice? How long do you leave it in the ghee? When do you throw in these other vegetables? How much do you push them around? So all this, when you start doing the seva, all the finer aspects of what you have heard and observed, now you start, when you put it in practice, you start realizing it. That's why practice is important, because then your perception starts to broaden. Because before you just saw, you just put a few things in and done. But then as you have to do it, then you start, there are more elements. Then next time you watch, you will be much more observant, because otherwise you saw ghee was there, spices are thrown in. Next time you'll look how much ghee, how hot was the ghee, what color did the spices turn. So all these finer aspects, because as far as you remember, they weren't black when the other person showed you how to cook them. And the vegetable was soft when you ate it, when they cooked it, and yours is not. So you start to get more aware. So there is awareness of the knowledge happening with seva when you put it in practice. Shravanam is just the hearing of the knowledge. That would be your interest. That is Pranipat and Pariprashna. So you're now connecting Shravanam with Pranipat and Pariprashna. You have an interest to learn, therefore you pay attention and you inquire submissively. So in Shravanam, Paripat and Pariprashna happen. Because you want an answer, because you get the best answer from that way. If you challenge, then you are going to get something. Sorry, the internet connection was lost. Just give me a minute, please. I'll just get back to you. Sorry, I had to just shift to another connection. So in the challenging spirit, what happens is, you ultimately, something that challenging get their answers, but the problem it is does not make, but it makes a rough environment. Then it starts into a very strong discussion between the speaker and one person, and a lot of other people feel left out. Plus, depending on the skill of these persons, then you sometimes run the risk of one of them or both of them becoming annoyed or insulted. Mananam means with understanding, you perform the activity. By performing the activity, get more understanding, so they nourish each other. Nididhyasan, which is conscious development and application of personal values in one's life due to realization of what has been learned. In other words, you realize the purpose and its importance, and therefore you consciously try to apply it in your life. So, Mananam is actually, Shravanam is compared to eating food in the mouth. Now, when you eat, you put the food in the mouth, that is like Shravanam, hearing through the ears. But Mananam means to chew it nicely. So it is said that at least we have 32 teeth, so 32 times you should bite your food. So what you have heard, you chew on it, contemplate. And Nididhyasan is that when this food goes inside, it gets assimilated. So you put it in practice and you realize the text. It is realization of the text. That is Mananam. Okay. So this is regarding Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasan. Now, any questions you have regarding Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasan? Then I will go to the 4 stages of learning, which is quite similar. Any questions you have about Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasan? Oh, 3 questions, 2 questions. Okay. Nandini Mataji, yes.
Ruchi, can you explain Nidhi Dhyasam little bit more?
Now, Nididhyasan is, as I was giving this example, Shravanam is like hearing, is like putting the food in the mouth. Mananam is like chewing the
Shivi.
food in the mouth itself. And when it is broken down and then it is assimilated in the stomach, then you actually have actually eaten the food. So similarly, when you have heard the subject, when you not only hear, but later on you contemplate deeply, and then you put it into practice. No, you might say that I should do humble service. Oh, I have heard in the class, but you never put it in practice. And while doing humble service, somebody, tells something and you get disturbed, then you understand that I'm not humble. So you start realizing that I'm not humble. So, I should really be humble in my service. So then when that realization comes, then your hearing has perfected. So that is how we should see this. So basically in Nididhyasan, what happens is you actually uh, take to heart what you have heard and start living by that. Start living by that. Are you getting this point?
Yes, yes, Ruchi.
I'll give you
Yes.
one example in the life of Bhakti Siddhanta Sarita Thakur. Bhakti Siddhanta Sarita Thakur, as a 5-year-old boy, he just ate a mango and he had not offered it. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur chastised him, reprimanded, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a very soft person, especially to his own son, who was a, Bhagavad Parshada. But he chastised, and those words, for a 5-year-old boy, when they entered, they not only entered the ear, they entered the head, but it entered his heart, and he took a vow that I have committed this offense, so I will never in this life eat mangoes. And imagine, as a 5-year-old boy, he took a vow, and when he was a 60-year-old sannyasi also, his sannyasi disciples used to get him mangoes. And moment, he used to see the mangoes, they used to offer him. He said, no, I cannot take, I am a aparadi. So he had put these teachings and he had taken it to heart and he had applied those teachings. So that is what is realization. Are you getting this point now?
Yes, Ruchi. Yes, yes.
Mhm. So
Yes.
in our this terminology, there is something called as prachar, vichar, and achar. Prachar means you can speak philosophy. Vichar means, array, what I'm speaking now, I should also reflect deeply on it, and I should also try to, understand it. Sometimes we speak to teach others, not to teach ourselves, but one should teach oneself also. This is vichar. And prachar means, Prachar means prakrisht rupena achar. That means one should, what he is hearing, he should apply it in his own life and then he should speak. So sometimes it is very easy to do prachar because that's the easiest thing. But to do achar is not so easy. Prakrisht rupena achar is prachar. So achar, prachar, vichar, achar. And acharya is one who practices what he speaks. So that's how Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana. I hope it is clear.
Yes, yes, Prachi. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Shubha Ikshana Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So, Prabhu, something very much related to this question itself, what we are discussing now. So, as a practical example, like we go to a class and we hear, which is Maranam, and then we come back home and do a dhyana on that, that, okay, this is something which I'm doing and how can I correct myself? And then I adopt that in my actual life. So that becomes the Nididhyasam. Is it like that,
No,
Prabhu?
exactly. Just by adopting it doesn't become Nididhyasana. That's not the understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Nididhyasana is very deep.
Mm.
See, first of all, I'll just give you an example of Nididhyasana and then you will understand what Nididhyasana is. Now, I'm giving Archimedes. Archimedes, was presented a problem. And then, it was like, in the Shravan stage, but he was contemplating deeply on it. And his contemplation was so deep that day and night he was into it. And one day morning while he taking bath, suddenly he discovered the principle of buoyancy. So he realized his contemplation. So the point is that, we go into such a deep meditation, like Brahma and all the Devtas went to the Shir Sagar and offered prayers. When they offered the prayers, there was no response. Then what did Brahma do? Shubhikran Prabhu, what did Brahma do?
He start for meditation. I don't know, Prabhu. Sorry.
He sat in meditation.
Yeah.
And in the meditation, the message was transmitted. And Prabhupada says this is parampara system, he says. Directly the knowledge is transmitted in the heart. So when you go deep in meditation and contemplation, and when you're deeply absorbed like that, then the Lord reciprocates and gives you that knowledge from within. Then you have realized it. Are you getting this point now?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay. Now there are 4 stages. That 3 are broken into 4 stages. 4 stages of learning, which is basically the same thing, but it is just another angle because it's bringing out another aspect. The first one is bringing out that you have to serve, you have to apply it. Pranipata Pariprashna Sevaya. Because it is not dealing there with Nididhyasan. If you do that, Nididhyasan will come. It is just like Sambandha and Abhiday. Abhiday, the action will give you prayojan. If you say perform this action, perform your duties properly, means you will get the result that comes from proper performance of duties. Or just like you are saying, thinking and feeling, it means willing will be there. If you are doing thinking and feeling, then willing will be there. If you have sambandh and prayojan, because you have a need for that, you will act. So here is the same way, Pranipat Pariprashna Seva. It is talking about the aspects of Sambandha and Abhiday. It means prayojan will come. So here is the same way, Pranipat Pariprashna Seva. It is talking about the aspects of Sambandha and Abhiday. It means prayojan will come. Sanatan Goswami's instructions and Rupa Goswami's, the subject matter appears to be the same, but the angle of approach is different. So there is Rupa Shiksha and Sanatan Shiksha, and both Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu are taught to them. But there is a different angle to that. That, we have to study and understand. One is establishing the field, the other is how to operate the field. So when I did not want to go into the deep aspects of it, but the point is that Sanatan Goswami, there is Sambandha Gyan given. He's the Sambandha Acharya. And Rup Goswami, same Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, but from a Abhideya perspective it is given. So I was mentioning there is a cricket field. The field is required. Without that, then, you need to operate in the field. The players have to do actions, Abhideya. And then the goal of six is the Prayojan. So one is establishing the field. So who is establishing the field? Who can tell? Who is establishing the field? Shubha Ikshan Krishna Prabhuji. Yes.
Sanatan Goswami.
And what is about operating the field then?
Rupa Goswami Pad.
So, although among the two, which is more important?
Sambandha.
See, you have a field, but there is no activities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Abhideya.
So, in one sense, the rasa exchange will happen. Why people go to watch cricket match? Please understand all this. You might think it is ordinary. They have rasa, Baba. It is all a matter of rasa, and that's why there is stampede and so many deaths happen. They're ready to die because there is rasa.
Yes.
Rasa is there. So, although the field is very important, and that's why, Sanatan Goswami is our main acharya, but ultimately, importance is given to rasa. And that's why we are Rupanugas, not Sanatanugas. We are Rupanugas, because ultimately it is rasa. Therefore, the field is considered senior, even though the operation is the most important and central. That's why Sanatan Goswami is senior. Senior, Rup Goswami accepts him as senior. Rup Goswami also considers Sanatan Goswami as his spiritual master. That's why Balram is senior to Krishna, because he's the field, Sankarshan. He creates the field, where Krishna can perform his Ras Leela. But in actuality, the important element is the activity, and therefore Krishna is the center of Raj Leela, and therefore Rup Goswami is the center of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. You're getting this point? Very, very amazing this is. So 4 stages of learning. So Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana. Shravanam, we are hearing. Mananam is Gyan. When you intellectually understand and apply. Nididhyasana means realization that has come from it. So it is very deep, realization it is. Shravanam, that there is pariprashna. Mananam means it will be contemplated, also includes pariprashna, sevaya and its application. Nididhyasana, its realization, but at the same time, it is also service. It has gone from the sadhana into one's lifestyle. Why reading and studying without manual service is insufficient to produce realization. Why reading and studying without menial service is insufficient to produce realization. There was once a very intelligent and excellent student who had learned so much and he wanted to learn more. He had so much knowledge. There was one teacher he wanted to study from because he knew some branches of knowledge that he didn't know yet. So he went to his teacher, introduced him, and told him how much he had already studied and that he wanted to study more, what this teacher had to offer, what was unique. Okay, let us sit down first before getting into the serious discussion since you are a guest. First, take some water. He gave a glass to the student, and the teacher had a jug of water and starts pouring the water into the glass. The glass fills up, and the student nodded that it is enough. But the teacher keeps pouring water. The glass overflows, but he keeps pouring water. At this time, the student is, can't you see the glass is full and nothing more will go inside? At that time, the teacher stopped pouring the water and said, exactly, your cup is so full that no more knowledge will go in because you have no humility. So how the, Nididhyasana, if it doesn't happen and it remains on Shravanam and Mananam platform, you have not developed the humility. Menial service for the brahmacharis to generate humility, that is the point. He has been directly instructed by authority to perform activities. Performing those activities incessantly in that humble mood, that will generate the ability to learn more. For grahasthas, it is not specific menial service. He can have servants, he can have this and that. By the nature of the Grahasthashram, he has to be humble in his dealings with the family. Otherwise, so many problems the Grahasthas face. Because, when one is a Grahasthana, he thinks, I am, whatever, I or she, I am the master of this house, or I'm the mistress of this house, you know. So if you're not humble in your dealings with, if the husband is not humble in his dealings with wife, or the wife is not humble in his dealings with, you know, a husband, or in the dealing with children, then there is so much. Then he has to use his intelligence when he'll find out how to behave and what to do. By that humility, he is able to gain more knowledge. If the Grasa is proud and thinks that he is great, then he can't learn anything. If the Grasa actually understands that even though I may know so much, I know nothing, and is always willing to learn and has a humble attitude, he can continue. The Grasa ashram will also create the environment in which you will learn. So both for brahmacharis and grahasthas it is meant. The position doesn't matter, but the point is humility must be obtained because humility is the first item of knowledge. Amanitvam, adambitvam. When Krishna describes knowledge, the first criteria he gives the knowledge. When Krishna describes knowledge, items of knowledge, the first quality he gives is humility. Only 1 out of 20 is studying Shastra. 19 is one's attitude and one's activities. So you see, out of the 20 items, one is only study, Adhyatma Nityatvam, one has to study Shastra. Only one item. 19 are one's attitude and one's activities. So this is Aditi. These are now 4 stages of learning. This is based on Aditi, Bodha, Achara, Prachara. This is from the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. To learn a subject thoroughly, Aditi is like Shravan. Hearing. Aditi means to hear. Hearing the knowledge from a teacher, and this is to learn a subject thoroughly. Hearing the knowledge means you should hear it, but then you should learn it thoroughly. This is just bringing out a different aspect of the same thing. You can hear from a teacher and it can go in from one ear and out of the other ear. But this is you are hearing and paying attention. That is what is called as Aditi. Hearing with attention. That's why this online platforms is a great challenge. I don't know about others, Let's see all of you on your videos. Let us see. Let me have darshan of all of you on your videos. Okay, Shubhikshan Prabhu is sitting on his laptop, focused. What about others? Our Anand Manaktal Prabhu is also sitting in one place, focused. Nandini Mataji is also sitting in one place, focused. Girish Prabhu is also, Chakrama Prabhuji also. Govinda Nandini Mataji, where are you? Are you there? Govinda Nandini Mataji? Yeah. So, how you are hearing with attention is very, very important. Hearing with attention. Otherwise, it is not Aditi. Okay. It's very, very important this point, hearing and paying attention. Both, both comes the word buddhi. To gain insight and proficiency in one learning, same as gaining an intellectual understanding to practice and reflection. Oh, I see. So when you say, oh, I see, it's not that you're seeing with your eyes. Oh, I understand, you're saying. Understand means you got an insight. Insight means inner sight. Inner, there is a tube light on. Knowledge, bodh. So it comes to practice and reflection on what is learned. Insight and proficiency, that is your skills, knowledge, skills, and values. Achara, realizing the purpose of and living according to our learning, similar to Nididhyasan. So this is Achara is similar to Nididhyasan. Acharan means that you follow it. Achar is what you do. Acharya is one who follows that. Prachar means enlightening others on Achar. Vichar means to discuss the various aspects of Achar from different angles. Sadachar means your own personal private practices. You practice it for yourself. Prachar, giving this knowledge to others. So Aditi, Bodha, Achara, Prachar. So Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasan. Nididhyasan includes both Achar and Prachar. Only thing in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, the verse is mentioning four aspects, and in that three are included, fourth is also included. Also, Srila Prabhupada quotes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, first in the Adi Leela, he also goes through these four stages and he's quoting from Vamana, Vara, Vishnu Puran, but he uses slightly different words. But basically, it is hearing, practicing, realizing, and giving to others. So it is the same stages of learning, practicing, hearing, practicing, realizing, and giving to others. The Yoga Sutras present four levels: Vitarka, Vichara, Ananda, and Asmita Rupa. Vitarka consists of study, analysis, conjuncture, argument. Vitarka, Tarkana. Vichar includes reflection, meditation, insight, and understanding. Anand contains assimilation application. Actually, when you realize it, you're in ecstasy. Wow, what an understanding. And you start jumping and dancing. That is Ananda. Asmita Rupa is equivalent to Siddha, Swarupa Siddhi, the perfection in Ashtanga Yoga practice. Parallels may be gleaned by comparing these different presentations. The first level of each system describes the primary step of learning, wherein hearing, study, and analysis present. The second level comprises gaining intellectual understanding and insight by reflection. The third level brings assimilation, wherein the student internalizes subjects and his skills become second nature. He lives and breathes his subject effortlessly. On the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, we have geared ISKCON for the first level. Bhakti Shastri courses and examinations are available and have become popular. So the first level, we are still stuck up in the first level, but going to the second level and third level is a great task which ISKCON should work on. This has energized ISKCON with transcendental knowledge, and devotees feels a sense of accomplishment and enlightenment. But Prabhupada wanted his followers to develop the other levels. He often held mock debates with his disciples, forcing them to think deeply about the philosophy. The second level, that is of insight and understanding, requires deeper thought, reflection, and discussion that has yet been developed in our society. So, I'm just mentioning we are going for a 6 days Godrum Dham retreat. And in this retreat, generally when we go to yatras, we are going for darshan and we have katha there. But here in this retreat, we retreat within, go deeper into the dham, deeper into our bhajan. That is meant for reflection, deeper insight, you know. So this second level is very, very important, which devotee should be trained. We are just working on the first level right now, and even for first level, we are not able to reach in in the numbers in what the amount of preaching we do. Insight and understanding mean we do not accept the philosophy blindly but question it and consider it from many angles of vision. Prabhupada quotation. And I'm very much stressing nowadays that my students shall increase their reading of my books and try to understand them from different angles of vision. Each shloka can be seen from many, many angles of vision to become practiced in seeing things like this. Prabhupada on letter to Tribhavanath, 16 June 1977. Then, Prabhupada, your first job should be to make sure that every one of the devotees in your zone of management is reading regularly our literatures and discussing the subject matter seriously from different angles of seeing, and that they are somehow or other absorbing the knowledge of Krishna consciousness philosophy. If they are fully educated in our philosophy and if they can get all of the knowledge and study it from every viewpoint, then very easily they can perform tapasya renunciation, and that will be their advancement in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada to Satsarup. Logically, we do not develop the second level, and third will be beyond our reach. But again, even the second level requires a Brahminical ethos, one of freedom and open inquiry without fear of reprisal, ridicule, or alienation. So, to come to the second level, we should develop a high degree of sattva. And Brahmana means he should have freedom, otherwise, he cannot make advancement. So very few, are able to do this. Srila Prabhupada states the third level is essential for Brahmanas and for preaching. That is the true description of the Brahmana. A Brahmana is one who has assimilated the Vedic conclusions by practicing mind and sense control, who has actually assimilated the essence of the Vedas can preach the truth. So Prabhupada 5:5:24. One can assimilate the knowledge of the revealed scriptures only by hearing and explaining. Assimilate again, Prabhupada 1:16. One can preach effectively without, one cannot preach effectively without having assimilated the assimilation is nididhyasan, or in Shravanam Mananam nididhyasan, or in Prachar, Aditi, Bodha, Acharan, and Prachar. Prachar is assimilation. Srila Prabhupada also refers these same four levels. Krishna consciousness is the great necessity of learn it, appreciate it, comprehend it, assimilate it, and teach it. It is very simple. Topmost yoga system. Now in this, tell me where is Aditi, Bodha, Achar, and Prachar? Who will tell me in this statement, one statement of Prabhupada in this statement? Who will tell me? Raise your hands. Aditi, Bodh, Achar, Vichar, and Prachar. Who will answer? Subhakshan Krishna. How about Anand Prabhuji? Anand Prabhuji, are you there? Anand Prabhu, are you there? No response. Okay. Subhakshan Krishna Prabhuji, yes.
Prabhu, learn it and appreciate is Aditi,
Uh,
and comprehend is both.
uh,
Assimilate is Achar,
uh.
and teach is definitely Prachar.
Yes, you see, just in this one statement, Prabhupada has covered all the four. You know, Prabhupada might have not used these terms from the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, but you can see very clearly. Now you know the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Okay. The third level, assimilation, allows total absorption, which in turn creates ananda. I told you, na? Assimilation stimulates creativity to flow. When we apply the philosophy without understanding, we are using all the senses, including the mind. And when we apply the philosophy with understanding, sorry, we are using all the senses, including the mind and intelligence. It becomes a part of us. We internalize the practice and feel something profound. We feel linked to the Supreme. That is yoga. Tad buddhas tad atmanas tan nishta tat parayana gachanti apunaravritam jnana nirduta kalmasha. When one's intelligent mind, faith, and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge and thus proceeds straight to the path of liberation. Progress on the path of liberation requires that we fix our mind and intelligence on Supreme. We will not be able to fix our mind and intelligence if we do not understand how Guru Sadhu Shastra are correct. We must fix our mind and intelligence to assimilate transcendental, otherwise we'll become dependent on a dogmatic view of the philosophy. Our preaching may become irrelevant since we are unable to apply a Krishna consciousness to present day circumstances. Bhagavad Gita verse, as a result of using one's intelligence in the present, is that one develops nishta, steadiness, and the ability to take shelter, parayan. Nishta and parayan add up to faith and are included in the stage of assimilation. So when assimilated, then your faith is deep and you take shelter of the Lord. So that is about Aditi, Bodh, Achara, and Prachar. So any questions on this you have? Any questions, any clarifications? Yes, Nandini Mataji.
Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, like what actually is happening is Prachar is happening before Achar.
Yes, yes, very good. I'm very happy that you brought this point. Actually, it is time. Prabhupada said that we should boil the milk. That we should boil the milk. And, sometimes, actually, even in other sampradayas like the Madhva Sampradaya or the Shri Sampradaya, what to speak, even in some other institutes which are not bona fide sampradayas, they study philosophical subjects for 7, 10 years. And then they are given menial services. and then they go into preaching field. Now hardly we have studied Bhakti Shastri also, and then we start preaching. That is good in one way because we are in an emergency, but we should understand that how much I myself should, internalize the subject. And in the Madhva Sampradaya, after one has studied Madhva's work for 20, 30 years, then he is allowed to study, the Mayavad Khandan, because Madhva, one of the, you know, important things, two things which Mahaprabhu took is Mayavad Khandan and Archa, Sri Krishna Archa Seva. So Mayavad Khandan is very strong in that. And of course, it is not now in today's times that they go and defeat the Mayavadis. But during Madhvacharya's time and later on also till the 15th or the 16th century, almost even till 17th, 18th century, Madhvas used to study Madhva philosophy and study thoroughly the Mayavad refutation. Only after 20, 30 years of studying their works, and highly their Nishta is very strong in that. So Nishta means, not the stage. Nishta means firm faith in the scriptures. And this firm faith in the scriptures comes by hearing scriptures for a very long time. At least 15 to 20 years devoted hearing is required. The same time you can do prachar as much as your ability, but you should understand this. And if you just go by the externals and don't develop internally yourself, then what will happen? It's like in going in a war, you're going out in the war and always using your ammunitions, but you're not coming back to the camp and replenishing them. One day, when you go out, you see that, you don't have enough things you're equipped with, and Maya's enemy will attack, and you'll be finished. So Maya is very strong. So we have to go internal at a point, and that is required, and Prabhupada is very clear about it. So nowadays, you have to be very, very careful about it, that don't go by the externals. Don't go by the externals. You have to go internal. Is it clear, Mataji?
Yes, Rishi.
Yeah. Any other questions anyone else has? Okay, so we stop here. So we have completed now two themes of two paragraphs from the introduction, and we have covered in terms of concept, Mangalacharan concept we have covered. We have covered the concept of what the Upanishads teach, Panchanganay, Sambandha Bhide Prayojan, Tattvatraya, and then we have covered the Tatparya Lingas, how we should not expect, no, accept Krishna as Bhagavan from the verses of the Gita, how to analyze the verses based on Tatparya Linga. And to understand the Bhagavad Gita, these are the stages of knowledge we should go through. Pranipata, Pariprashna, Sevaya, or Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasan, or Aditi, Bodha, Achar, and Prachar. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.